Hello and welcome to the Vaults of Terra. My name is Ed and today we're going to continue with our Primarch videos with a quick look at Lorgar. Now Lorgar was the Primarch of the Word-Bearers Legion, the 17th Legion of the Space Marines. He was also known as Lorgar Arulian or the Urizen. Prone to zealotry, he desired more than the role of a soldier and looked to divine and mystical sources for guidance. These sources led to his corruption by chaos, becoming the first traitor Primarch and the catalyst behind the Horus Heresy. Now, vanishing from the Emperor's labs, Lorgar landed far from Terra on the feudal world of Colchis. He was discovered by Corferon, a follower of the world's most prominent religion known as the Covenant. The Primarch was raised among the followers of this religion, following in Corferon's footsteps to become a devout preacher for the Covenant. His charisma, stemming from his Primarch genes, was second to none and he quickly gained many followers, becoming an archpriest of the Godsworn in record time. However, his meteoric rise in position was matched by a growing jealousy from his priest peers. Lorgar had been beset by visions since his youth, of a warrior mighty and covered in shining bronze armour, walking on Colchis with a Cyclops beside him dressed in azure robes. These visions became so regular and intense that Lorgar claimed they were surely prophesying the return of Colchis' god, and that this would happen soon. He became a prophet for his followers and attracted many more through his words. This caused a schism in the Covenant leadership, and Lorgar's enemies saw this as an opportunity to remove him and return the religion to its status quo. They declared him a heretic and sent men to arrest him. These men were killed by Lorgar's men, and the religion of the Covenant shattered, becoming two sides, the Old Faith and the Brotherhood of Lorgar. This split led to a great conflict known as the Schism Wars on Colchis and forced every member of the population to pick a side. After 6 years of conflict, Lorgar and his followers finally stormed the temple where Lorgar had trained, killing the Old Faith monks within. This caused a severe backlash even amongst Lorgar's own followers, as the monks were not armed or prepared to fight, and led to the third of the planet's population turning against Lorgar. In response, fanatical monks loyal to Lorgar conducted a great purge, removing the last of the Old Faith's followers and claiming victory. Less than a year later, a lander carrying the Emperor dressed in his battle plate and Magnus dressed in azure robes, along with 2 squads of Thousand Sons Marines, arrived near the temple where Lorgar resided. The Primarch recognised the visitors immediately as the figures from his vision and swore fealty to them then and there. All aspects of the Covenant was reorganised to worship the Emperor as the saviour of Colchis, and a months-long celebration of piety was held despite the Emperor's wish to rejoin the Great Crusade quickly. At the conclusion of the festivities, Lorgar was made the commander of the Imperial Heralds, the 17th Legion, made from Lorgar's own gene seed. After Lorgar took command, they were given a new name, which in coming days would live in infamy for those of the Imperium, the Word-Bearers. Now, Lorgar's time initially in the Great Crusade was spent eliminating heresies found through the conquered worlds of the Imperium. Ancient works and icons of false gods were destroyed, and construction of vast cathedrals and other edifices celebrating the Emperor's divinity were made. The chaplains of the Word-Bearers espoused great speeches and scriptures celebrating their god, and Lorgar even penned the Licitato Divinitus, a seminal work on the Emperor's divinity that later, ironically, would go on to form the basis of the Imperial cult. Lorgar's conquest was slow, but adoption of the Imperial way was complete. However, the Emperor was not happy with the pace of the Word-Bearers and repeatedly reprimanded Lorgar for spreading faith, which at the time went against the Imperial truth, that there were no gods or magic and that everything in the universe had a rational explanation. Eventually, the Emperor sent Lorgar's Primarch brother Guilliman and the Ultramarines to sack Lorgar's greatest success, the planet Monarchia. The cities burned, Lorgar was forced to watch. He and his legion were then forced to kneel, humiliating them all. Lorgar went away from this and mourned the tragedy for over a month. This delay angered the Emperor further, but his reprimand was stalled when suddenly the Word-Bearers began to rapidly advance, with many worlds falling before them in quick succession. For Lorgar, the sacking of Monarchia was the turning point that set him on the road to heresy. 43 years before Horus's corruption, whilst Lorgar brooded over the Emperor's reproach, Master of the Faith Corferon and the first chaplain Erebus began to whisper secretly to Lorgar about another pantheon whom he could offer his allegiance to, the gods of the Immaterium. They poisoned Lorgar's mind against the Emperor and caused him to doubt his father's divinity. Even consulting with his closest brother Magnus did not set Lorgar's mind at ease, so the Primarch decided to take a pilgrimage. His latent psychic powers eventually led Lorgar to Cadia, a newly discovered world by the Imperium. There he encountered Ingerthal the Ascended, a woman native to Cadia who revealed to Lorgar the primordial truth, explaining the power of the Chaos Gods and showing that the Emperor had hidden the truth of the universe from the Imperium. Failure to accept the Chaos Gods and the primordial truth, according to Ingerthal, would lead humanity to the same fate as the Eldar. Finally being shown a vision of a horrifying future, which may have been the Emperor ruling from the Golden Throne through tyranny, fear and religious fervour, Lorgar was convinced to join the ruinous powers, worshipping the 4 Chaos Gods equally as the Chaos Undivided. Afterwards, Lorgar travelled into the Eye of Terror with Ingerthal, where he defeated an Eldar avatar of Cain on a destroyed Crone world, and bested a bloodthirster named Angergrath the Unbound in combat, showing his chosen status by the Chaos Gods. After Lorgar met Carius Fateweaver, a greater demon of Tzeentch, he told Lorgar of the choice he had, either personal vengeance for his humiliation at Guilliman's hands, leading to the failure of Horus's rebellion, or to put aside his hatred forever, but assure Horus's victory and spread the primordial truth. Both Carius's heads spoke this prophecy, showing it was the truth, and a vital decision that Lorgar had to make, as one of Carius's heads usually had to lie. Contemplating this, Lorgar demanded he be shown a vision of the future should Horus's rebellion fail. Whatever he saw altered his perceptions forever and set him firmly on the path of chaos. His corruption complete, Lorgar was now Chaos's primary agent in the Great Crusade. He dispatched Erebus to Davin to set the chain of events moving that would lead to Horus's corruption mentioned in my previous videos. Their allegiance was kept secret until Horus announced his new allegiance to Chaos at the Istvan III massacre, and many of the worlds that the Word Bearers had conquered previously openly dedicated themselves to Chaos at this point, corrupted by the Word Bearers many years before. They also joined in a dropsite massacre on Istvan V. Here Lorgar fought Korax, his brother, although he required the intervention of Conrad Kurz of the Night Lords to drive the Raven Guard Primarch off. After the battle at Horus's War Council, Lorgar assaulted the demonically possessed Fulgrim, angered by the total possession of Fulgrim by a demon rather than the shared bond between a demon and the host that Lorgar saw as more natural. The next campaign for the Word Bearers was an assault on Ultramar to destroy Guilliman and his realm as vengeance for Monarchia, and so his forces could not aid Terra when Horus assaulted it. They ambushed the Marines at Calth, the primary arming world for the Ultramarines. The world was bombarded and its surface rendered almost uninhabitable. This devastation allowed Corferon and Erebus to create a ruin storm, a vast warp storm that would envelop the Imperium and cut off ships from the Astronomicon, making warp travel almost impossible for Imperial forces. However, the Word Bearers were stalled by the ferocity and tactical acumen of the Ultramarines' retaliation and were eventually ousted from Calth. Lorgar did not lead his forces for more than a few engagements on Calth. Instead, he joined his fellow traitor Primarch Angron in pursuing a shadow campaign against the rest of Ultramar, striking the lightly defended worlds to erode Guilliman's support. Initially, Angron and Lorgar differed on how to carry out the shadow campaign, and this led to a great deal of tension between the two. However, fighting off a Dark Elder assassination attempt brought the two closer together and they began to act in concert. It was Lorgar that persuaded Angron to return to his former homeworld, leading to the slaughter of the world's population by Angron's World Eaters and the Word Bearers. Guilliman and the Ultramarines arrived in the middle of the slaughter and fought against Lorgar, then Angron. However, it was all Lorgar's plan, and eventually this allowed him to use Angron's rage to make him a Demon Prince of Khorne, saving him ironically from the death at the hands of his own implants. Lorgar left a portion of his legion to tie up the Ultramarines in Ultramar, and the rest headed to Terra to join Horus at the Siege of Terra. Unfortunately, Horus's defeat had not been planned for after the 55-day siege, and Lorgar and his marines are forced to retreat to the Eye of Terra and the Maelstrom, another warp storm similar to the Eye. Eventually, Lorgar's atrocities allowed him to ascend to the rank of Demon Prince, equal to a god in the eyes of his legion, and he has meditated on his ascension for thousands of years since that time. Well, that's everything I wanted to mention today. Thank you for watching. If you have a comment or a suggestion, please leave it in the comment section below or send me a personal message. If you're still interested in the Vaults of Terra roleplay stream, the next one will be held on the 11th of July 2016. Anyway, that's everything we have to say today. See you next time on the Vaults of Terra.